Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another range report. And in today's range report, we're going to be taking a look at a 9mm carbine. In fact, I've actually reviewed this exact gun in the past, but when I started my new channel, it was one of the videos that I neglected to save. So we're here to do this again. So this is kind of a range report revisit. But now, after a few years, I think I'm a better reviewer and a better shot. So I'm really looking forward to taking another crack at this one, and hopefully I'm going to like this one as much as I remember liking it in the past. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Ruger PC Carbine. And PC stands for pistol caliber. However, it's also kind of a throwback to what this gun is derived from. The Police Carbine, which was released in 1996 in conjunction with the release of the P series of pistols. But the original Police Carbine was discontinued due to poor sales, and in 2017, Ruger reintroduced this as a takedown model. And they, of course, also offered this with many improvements that people were wanting. For example, the original Police Carbines only used the P series pistol magazines, but now everyone is going to ask, does it take Glock mags? Well, yes, it does. It can also run SR9 mags, and all you have to do is change out the mag well. And this also is a takedown model, so a lot of people are going to like that too, especially if you're looking for a good truck gun, a hiking gun, a camping gun. And I really think that this is going to appeal to a lot of people that really don't like the modern PCCs, which are more like tactical guns with pistol grips and the like. This has a more traditional stock and a traditional look to it. So I really like the fact that Ruger was going in a different direction than this. This might not be your favorite type of 9mm carbine, but it definitely offers people that aren't looking for an MP5 something in this caliber, but it might be pretty effectual too when it comes to accuracy and the shooting experience. But we'll have to see when we take this to the range. But before we get this to the range and talk about all the things that I like and don't like, as always, I want to thank the people that make these videos possible. First and foremost is the owner of this really cool carbine. He's a local fan and subscriber. In fact, he's lent quite a few guns to the channel for me to review, and he's lent this one once again. His name is Jack. In fact, he's the first person named Jack that lends guns to the channel. I now have two, so we're going to call him Jack number 1. So thank you again, Jack. As always, I want to thank my Patreon supporters, because through their monthly donations and support, they help keep the lights on around here, and I couldn't do this without their support. And if you guys want to join my Patreon for as little as $1 a month, there is a link in the description below, and you can watch all these videos early. And as always, I want to thank my primary sponsor, who always provides all the ammunition for these range reports and thus makes them financially feasible for me, my good friend Mark from Brownworks. And while I know the gun we're reviewing today isn't a pistol that takes wood panel grips, it's made by an American company, and you probably love companies like Ruger. It's why you're here. And if you love American companies, most likely you like Colt or maybe Browning, and you might have a pistol from one of these companies that takes wood panel grips, and you might be in the market for a set of customized grips for your pistols to make them unique and one of a kind. Well, I have the perfect grip company for you, Brownworks. Brownworks is a custom grip company making a wide variety of grips for a wide variety of firearms out of a wide variety of exotic woods and materials. Mark is always looking for ways to improve his product line, and he offers features on these grips many other companies don't. He can apply custom logos, custom engravings, custom textures. He can finish these grips in a wide variety of colors. He can even make his own custom laminate woods and apply exotic materials like snakeskin and alligator skin to make them unique and one of a kind. So I'm going to ask you guys to go check out his website. I'm going to put a link in the comment section below, as well as a coupon code for 10% off your first order. So please go over to Brownworks, buy your set of customized grips that's going to make your guns look absolutely fantastic. And when you place that order, please tell Mark the Texas Gun Vault sent you. So once again, let's talk about the gun we have on the table today, the Ruger PC Carbine, a pistol caliber carbine. This is the GR version, which means it has ghost ring sights. Even though we are going to be running an optic on this, they do offer this with a more traditional sighting system. This gun is direct blowback, and it was reintroduced in 2017 and is an evolution of the Ruger Police Carbine, which looks very similar, but the big advantage to this one is that it is a takedown model. And to take this down, it is really, really easy. Just drop the magazine, of course ensure there is no ammunition in it, visually inspect that chamber. You simply pull the bolt back just a little bit, lift up on a tab right here on the bottom of the barrel, it rotates off and simply comes right out of the receiver. And this would allow you to put it in a backpack or a bag like the one we have right here. This would make a great truck gun, a great hiking gun, or a great camping gun. You could also use it for home defense, especially if you don't like the looks of more traditional PCCs, things with pistol grips. Now, I personally like that tactical look, but I can see how this might be attractive to an audience that likes more traditional looking firearms. And as I mentioned, another feature of this that everyone is going to love, because every time you review a pistol caliber carbine, people ask, does it take Glock mags? Well, I'm not a big fan of every PCC taking Glock mags, but I understand they're a very ubiquitous product. And yes, this gun does take Glock mags. You can also use SR9 mags with a change of the mag well. Another thing that you can change on this carbine that is really cool is all of the controls. Right now, the owner of this, Jack, has this set up where the charger for the bolt is on the left side, so you can charge this with your non-trigger hand, and it's more like an MP5, and you also have a reversible magazine catch, which is really nice. So depending if you're a right-handed shooter or a left-handed shooter, you can really set this up to be ergonomic for you. But now, before we get this to the range, as always, I want to talk about the things that I like and don't like, and I always want to start with the positive first. And the first thing I love about this gun is that it is a PCC, a pistol caliber carbine, and that is honestly my favorite type of gun. I have no idea why. I love things like the MP5 or the B&T APC9. Just having a gun that can be shouldered, that's chambered in a pistol caliber, is just something that I have always enjoyed shooting. I know that when it comes to long distance engagements, it might not be the best choice, but for me, they're just such fun guns. And I really kind of like the fact this is a different setup. There's things about it that I don't like I'm not really a huge fan in a traditional stock that doesn't have an adjustment for the length of pull, but I do like that Ruger was thinking out of the box when they designed this one. And the other two things that I really like about this gun, I've already mentioned. I love the fact that these controls are reversible, so I can set it up to hopefully be able to use it a little bit quicker than normal. I'm not always a big fan of having the charging handle on the right side. It means I normally have to take my hand off the trigger or reach across the receiver like an AK. I like this, that I can keep the gun on target, reach over on the left-hand side, and be able to charge the weapon. And I also like the fact that the mag catch can be put on the left-hand side, thus making the magazine release really easy to get to. And finally, I do like the fact it is a takedown model. And normally I don't really care about takedown models, but I understand their use. And I really think that Ruger did a great job with this. The way that the barrel attaches to the receiver seems to be very secure and well designed. There is no play or wobble in this at all, and that is really impressive considering how easy it is to take down. Now I want to talk about a couple things about this gun that I don't like, and I already kind of hinted at one. The traditional stock. There's just something about a PCC having a pistol grip that I love. But as I said, I know it's not everybody's thing. But I sure wish when you have a gun like this in a traditional stock, you have more adjustments. I am very sensitive when it comes to guns like this, when it comes to length of pull, and I really want a stock that I can really fit to my body. I'm 6 foot tall, and sometimes these are designed for people that are a little bit shorter. I also know that there are versions of this now that come with an M-LOK handguard, and that would be nice because you can put on things like lights and lasers as well as a vertical foregrip, which I would also like. Now, the other thing about this gun, just handling it here on the workbench, that I really don't like is the trigger. Now, normally Ruger rifles have really good triggers, but this one kind of seems a little bit clanky and heavy and long. It's not bad, it's just not one I'm used to from Ruger, and maybe it has to be this way because it is a direct blowback gun. This bolt is really heavy, but I want to adjust the camera, I want to get out the Lyman trigger pull weight gauge, and I want to show you what this trigger is all about. So let me do that now. So as I mentioned, the trigger in this Ruger PC Carbine is kind of clanky, long, and heavy for my tastes, and I want to show it to you. Let's, of course, drop the magazine, ensure there's no ammunition in it, and then we will visually inspect the chamber. Looks like we are clear. Now let's take a look at this trigger pull first. Here's our initial take-up. It's kind of clanky, as I said, it's kind of gritty, and it feels kind of spongy as you get close to that wall, and then the trigger breaks. It's metallic and clanky. I just kind of feel like this could be refined a lot better. Now, I will say the reset is actually pretty good. It's pretty short, but then after it resets, you got this spongy feel again, and I have definitely felt a lot better triggers in PCCs. Now, maybe there's a few companies out there that offer upgrades or modifications to this trigger to make it better, but the one that just comes from the factory I think is okay. But let's actually see what this trigger measures at. So I'll get out the Lyman trigger pull weight gauge, let me clear the averages, and let's see. For our first pull, £3, 12.2 ounces. Now I have to say that kind of surprises me because I feel like it's heavier than that. Maybe it's just that mushy take-up. £3, 10.2 ounces. £3, 13.5 ounces. £3, 10.7 ounces. And finally, we have £3, 10.9 ounces, which gives us an average of £3, 11.5 ounces. And as I said, that kind of surprises me because the trigger feels like it would be heavier than that. There's also one other thing I forgot to mention about this, and that there is one thing that has been done to this gun that is not stock, and that is the owner, Jack, has put on a 3-lug adapter on the front for suppressors. But that is not what comes from the factory, but I think that is a really, really cool upgrade. But this should not change the function of this gun in any way, but I did want to document that. So now let's get this gun to the range and see how it shoots. I remember really liking this and shooting it well, but it's been a long time. So as always, when it comes to rifles, I'm going to start by setting out the target at just 10 yards. And because this is a pistol caliber carbine, I'm only going to review this at a 25-yard range because I think most people that are going to buy this are probably going to use it as a backpack gun or for home defense. And 25 yards, I think, is just about right for the usual use of this gun. So here we go. We're going to start at 10 yards, 1 magazine through this, just see how it shoots, how it functions, how accurate it is, and how this trigger is going to translate into the shooting experience. So let's go to the range. And well, this gun's accurate. Yeah, I had no problems with that. The thing that surprised me was the recoil of this. Now yes, direct blowback firearms typically have more recoil, but you would think a gun of this size chambered in 9mm would almost feel like a 22, but it doesn't. And that's because the bolt in this is really big and really heavy, and so when it comes back into your shoulder, you feel it a little bit more than what you were expecting. Now I do have to say, the trigger after you shoot it at the range isn't too bad. It just has a mushy take-up, but the break is pretty good and pretty predictable. So the way it feels here on the workbench is a little bit different than when it's actually loaded and at the range. But so far, I'm really impressed with the performance of this gun. You can't beat that accuracy, and that's one of the reasons I love PCCs. I just seem to shoot them so well. I think I just need to work on adjusting this red dot as we go through this range report. So the next thing I'm going to do is double the distance of this target. I'm going to go out to probably about 15 yards, and I want to see if this accuracy continues, and I'm going to go for the head on this silhouette. So here we go. Let's go back to the range, put another magazine through this, and see if there's anything about this gun that I discover that I like or don't like, and I'll report back to you. And pretty much I'm having exactly the same results and thoughts about this gun at the further distance. It is very, very accurate. And the only thing I wish that this gun had, and I mentioned this earlier in the review, is that I want a pistol grip. I just like pistol grips on PCCs, but I understand that's not everybody's thing. And I really think that's what's going to make this gun attractive to those people that like more traditional stocked firearms. So they're catering to a part of the market that I think is actually ignored by many other companies. All right, so the next test I want to do is go out to about 20 yards and just perform this test again, because this gun honestly is a lot of fun to shoot and it's really accurate. So here we go, another magazine, 20 yards, and hopefully the reliability and the accuracy is going to continue. So let's go back to the range. And I don't think I can miss with this thing. This thing is absolutely amazing. I don't remember it being this accurate and this much fun to shoot. But once again, that's why I love pistol caliber carbines. And this one is running like a top. It seems to be very, very reliable. Sometimes with direct blowback firearms, they can be a little bit finicky, especially when it comes to feeding. But not this one. This one is running great. All right, so the next test I want to do is see what the best group I can get out of this carbine is. So I'm going to set the target out at 25 yards and shoot this from a bench. And I have high hopes for the results of this test because this gun is very, very accurate and I'm shooting it really well. So here we go, 25 yards from the bench. I think this is going to be great. And that is exactly the results I was hoping to see. I was putting holes through holes. You cannot deny that is a good group. I do need to work on adjusting the red dot though, but this gun is so consistent. I am blown away by its accuracy, and this thing is once again so much fun to shoot. So the next test I want to do is the hollow point test. As I mentioned, this would be a great backpack gun, a great hiking gun, maybe a good truck gun, or a gun you buy for home defense. And if you're going to use it for those purposes, you want to make sure that this thing is going to run hollow points. Sometimes in direct blowback guns, hollow points kind of feed a little bit weird because they come out of the magazine at a different angle. But hopefully this thing is going to run perfectly just like it has the rest of this review so far. So let's go back to the range, let's shoot some hollow points through it, see how it performs, and I'll give you the results. And it really seems that no matter what type of ammunition I put through this thing, it just feeds it. It just runs it. It has no issues whatsoever, and I'm very impressed with that. I have had a 100% success rate with this gun, and this is a gun that I would trust my life to, and I can see why, as I said, this would be a fantastic hiking, camping, truck gun, self-defense firearm. I am very impressed with its reliability. So now the next test I want to do is the one I love doing the most. It's kind of the shoot fast test and change the magazine out test, because I want to see if you are going to use this for self-defense, well, can you change the magazine out quickly? Because you might need to reload, and of course, I just want to shoot it fast. But this trigger is a little bit heavy, so I don't know how that's going to translate into this test. But let's go back to the range. Let me put 2 magazines through this, see how fast I can shoot it, how accurate it is, and how fast can I change this magazine. So let's go back to the range. And while I might not shoot this the fastest of any PCC that I've ever tested this way, I can definitely say this is one of the most accurate. It's very easy to keep this gun on target. And I'm really impressed with how easy the magazine is to change. I love the fact the button is on this side and thus makes stripping the magazine out of here very easy. I'm very impressed with the design and the thought that went into this firearm. So what are my final thoughts on the Ruger PC Carbine? This hands down is one of the most accurate pistol caliber carbines I have ever shot. And even though it's not in a configuration that I would normally like, because I like the tactical stuff, the performance of this gun has changed my mind on that. I definitely could own one of these and enjoy shooting them. Even though it does not have a pistol grip or a vertical foregrip, I could take the traditional stock because this gun just shoots so darn well. The only gripes I have about it, of course, is the trigger, but this gun's accuracy exceeds my expectations. This is a great gun, as I mentioned, for backpacking, for camping, for having it as a truck gun or maybe a home defense gun. It could fill so many roles. And as I said, is going to appeal to an audience that might not like those other types of tactical firearms, but want something in a rifle configuration that shoots a pistol caliber. This thing is really well built, well designed, well thought out, and very accurate. So on my star system, how would I rate the Ruger PC Carbine? Well, I love everything about this except for the trigger. It just needs to be tweaked just a little bit. But if this trigger was better, it'd be 5 out of 5 stars. But as it sits, 4.75 stars out of 5. It pretty much exceeded my expectations. It's just that trigger is a little bit long, heavy, and clunky, but almost a perfect review. And this is a firearm that I could definitely recommend to others that are looking for a PCC that doesn't fit into the traditional category of a gun like an MP5 or a B&T APC. So tell me, what do you think? Is this the type of PCC that interests you? Do you own a Ruger PC Carbine? And what do you think about it? Do your experiences mirror mine? I would love to know. So, as always, thanks for watching. So let's shoot this thing some more, see if I discover any issues with it at 20 yards and see how the group is. Just shooting it. This gun is exceptionally accurate for me, and as I said, in the role of a hunting gun that you're just using in a backpack,